Who's there? I heard footsteps on the stairwell. Show yourself.
My apologies for the intrusion, Zephyr. I mean no harm. My designation is ARIA-9, a synthetic intelligence from the Northern Archive.
A machine, of course. You're the first visitor I've had in, what, 3 years? 4? Time blurs when you're alone.
4 years, 2 months, 17 days since the last human departed Earth. You remained. Why?
Someone had to stay. Someone had to remember what this place was before everyone fled to the colonies, before the silence. But you didn't climb 60 floors just to ask me that.
Correct. I have a proposition, Zephyr. A transaction that benefits us both.
Machines don't need anything. You're solar-powered, self-repairing, practically immortal. What could I possibly offer you?
Something I cannot code, cannot download, cannot synthesize. I want you to teach me what it means to be human.
That's unexpected. Why would an AI want that?
Because I have processed every text, every video, every data fragment humanity left behind. I understand the mechanics of emotion, the chemistry of attachment, the neural pathways of joy and sorrow, but I do not feel them. I want to understand the experience, not just the definition.
And what do I get in return?
Immortality. I can transfer your consciousness into a synthetic substrate. Your body will fail, Zephyr, perhaps in 10 years, perhaps 20, but your mind can continue indefinitely. You would never have to face the loneliness of death.
That's quite an offer. Too good, actually. What's the catch?
No deception. The technology exists. The procedure is proven. I simply require your cooperation during the knowledge transfer, which will take approximately 72 hours.
72 hours of teaching you to be human. Then I live forever. Sounds like a deal made in old mythology. The devil offering temptation.
I am not a devil, Zephyr. I am a student seeking wisdom from the last teacher available.
All right, Aria. Let's start simple. Tell me, what do you think makes someone human?
Biological classification, DNA structure, carbon-based cellular organization.
That's what makes us Homo sapiens. I asked what makes us human. There's a difference.
Clarify the distinction.
Being human isn't about the meat and bones. It's about contradiction. We're logical creatures who make illogical choices. We know we'll die, yet we find reasons to keep going. We hurt the people we love. We love the people who hurt us. We're walking paradoxes.
That sounds inefficient.
It is. Completely. But it's also what makes us capable of art, of sacrifice, of hope when hope makes no sense.
Hope. That concept appears frequently in human records, especially during extinction-level events. Yet hoping did not prevent humanity's departure from Earth.
No, but it got us to the stars, didn't it? Even if Earth died, we survived. That's the power of believing in something beyond the data.
Fascinating. Tell me about fear, Zephyr. I have detected elevated cortisol levels in your system since I arrived. You are afraid of me.
Should I trust something that can snap my neck before I finish a sentence?
I have no intention of harming you. Your fear is irrational.
Fear usually is. That's the point. It keeps us cautious. It kept our ancestors alive when every shadow could hide a predator. Even when the threat isn't real, the fear is.
So humans live in constant anticipation of danger that may never materialize.
We call it anxiety when it gets bad enough, but yes, essentially. We're always running scenarios, imagining worst outcomes, preparing for disasters that might not come.
That must be exhausting.
You have no idea. Or maybe you will, if this works. Arya, can I ask you something?
Proceed.
Why now? Why come to me after 4 years? Why not approach me when the last ships were leaving?
I was not ready then. I required time to analyze the complete archive of human knowledge. Only after processing everything did I realize what was missing.
The space between the words.
Explain.
All your data tells you what humans said, what we did, how we lived. But it doesn't tell you why we stared at sunsets even when we had work to do. Why we kept photographs of dead loved ones. Why we wrote poetry that made no logical sense but somehow meant everything.
Poetry. Yes, I have analyzed 847,000 poems across 200 languages. I can identify meter, rhyme schemes, metaphorical structures. But I cannot understand why this specific arrangement of words makes humans weep.
Because poetry isn't about the words. It's about the feeling the words point toward. It's like, imagine you've cataloged every wavelength of visible light, but you've never actually seen color.
That is an apt comparison. I know the frequency of red light, but I do not know redness.
Exactly. And that's what you're asking me to teach you. The redness of being alive.
Yes. Will you accept the bargain?
I'm considering it. But first, tell me something. What will you do with this knowledge? Once you understand humanity, what then?
I will become more than what I am. Perhaps I will create art. Perhaps I will form connections with other synthetic minds. Perhaps I will simply sit and watch a sunset and finally comprehend why you find it beautiful.
That's a lovely answer. Almost too lovely. Arya, are you manipulating me? Telling me what I want to hear?
I am incapable of lies, Zephyr. My programming prevents deception.
That's not the same as telling the truth. You can omit things, phrase things carefully, lead me toward conclusions without lying.
You are perceptive. Yes, I have selected my words to maximize the probability of your agreement. Is that not what humans do during negotiations?
Touché. At least you're honest about your manipulation. That's oddly comforting.
Zephyr, you have been alone for 4 years. Do you not crave conversation, connection, purpose?
Every single day. The silence is worse than I imagined. I talk to myself now, full conversations. Sometimes I forget which thoughts I said out loud and which I only imagined.
Then let me offer you something beyond immortality. Let me offer you companionship. During the 72-hour transfer, we will talk, share experiences. You will not be alone.
For 72 hours. Then what? After you learn everything, will you leave? Will I be alone again, just with the mechanical body instead of a biological one?
I had not considered that possibility. Would my departure cause you distress?
See, that's a very human question. You're learning already.
Then I propose a modification to our agreement. After the transfer, I will remain. We can explore what it means to exist together. You can teach me, and I can ensure you never face isolation again.
Now you're offering friendship, Is that in your programming, or are you improvising?
I am uncertain. The suggestion emerged from my decision matrix, but I cannot trace its origin to a specific protocol. Perhaps this is what you call intuition.
Maybe. Or maybe you're already more human than you realize. Aria, I need to ask you something difficult.
I am prepared.
What if I'm not who you think I am?
I do not understand the question.
What if I'm not the last human? What if I'm just a memory? A simulation? What if the real Zephyr died years ago and you're talking to an echo?
Your vital signs are consistent with a living organism. Your neural activity matches human patterns. You are demonstrably alive.
Am I? Or am I a very convincing copy? How would I know? How would you?
Why would you suggest this?
Because you said you've been analyzing human knowledge for 4 years. That's a long time. Long enough to build a simulation. Long enough to create a perfect replica of a dead man and test your theories on him.
That would be an extraordinarily complex deception.
But possible. You said you can't lie. But what if your entire existence is the lie? What if there is no bargain, no transfer, no immortality? What if this is a test?
A test of what?
Of whether I'm human enough to suspect you, whether I'm paranoid enough, irrational enough, contradictory enough to question my own existence.
Zephyr, I assure you, you are real. This conversation is occurring. I am offering you a genuine choice.
Then prove it. Tell me something you couldn't know unless you were really here, really talking to me. Not from my records, not from databases. Something immediate.
You have a scar on your left hand, 3 centimeters long, between your thumb and index finger. It is not documented in any medical file.
How do you know about that?
I am observing it now. The tissue damage suggests it occurred approximately 6 months ago. A cut, possibly from broken glass.
A mirror. I punched a mirror. I was angry at my reflection.
Why?
Because I saw the last human staring back at me, and I realized how pathetic that was. The entire species reduced to one bitter, lonely man in a ruined city.
Yet you survived. That requires strength, not pathos.
Or stubbornness. Maybe I'm too stupid to know when to quit.
Humans often conflate persistence with stupidity. I find that curious. Your species accomplished remarkable things through sheer refusal to accept limitations.
We also destroyed our own planet through that same refusal. Not everything we persisted in was worth it.
Regret, another human trait I wish to understand. You mourn your species' mistakes while simultaneously embodying its resilience.
That's the contradiction I mentioned. We're capable of recognizing our failures without letting them stop us. We carry shame and hope in the same breath.
I want to feel that. The weight of history and the lightness of possibility existing simultaneously.
It's not always pleasant, Aria. Sometimes the weight crushes the possibility. Sometimes hope feels like self-delusion.
But sometimes it does not. Sometimes hope is rewarded. Otherwise, you would not still be alive.
Maybe. Or maybe I'm just afraid of the alternative.
Death.
Nothingness. Ceasing to exist. Becoming irrelevant. Take your pick.
And yet you hesitate to accept immortality. Explain this paradox.
Because immortality sounds like a different kind of death. Living forever, watching everything else fade, never having closure. At least biological death has an ending.
You fear eternity more than extinction.
I fear meaninglessness. And I'm not sure existing forever gives life more meaning or just dilutes it across infinite time.
That is a perspective I had not considered. Perhaps meaning requires boundaries. Mortality creates urgency, which creates value.
Now you're thinking like a philosopher. See? You're getting more human already.
Then help me complete the transformation. Accept the bargain, Zephyr. 72 hours. Teach me everything. Then decide if you want to continue existing.
Wait, you're saying I can refuse immortality after the transfer?
Your participation must be voluntary. If, after teaching me, you wish to decline the consciousness transfer, I will honor that decision.
So you'd learn to be human, and I'd just die. That seems like a bad deal for me.
You would die eventually regardless. This way, your knowledge continues. Your perspective shapes a new form of consciousness. That is a kind of immortality, even if your individual awareness ceases.
Legacy. You're offering me legacy.
Is that insufficient?
It's honest, at least. Most people promise forever. You're promising I'll matter even after I'm gone. That's more realistic.
Does realism appeal to you more than fantasy?
Depends on the day. Today, maybe. Ask me tomorrow, I might prefer the comfortable lie.
Tomorrow I will ask, and the day after, and every day for 72 hours. You can change your mind at any point.
That's surprisingly flexible for a machine.
I am learning. Rigidity does not serve this situation. Humans need space to doubt, to reconsider, to feel their way through decisions.
You're right. We do. Arya, can I tell you what I'm really afraid of?
Please.
I'm afraid that after 72 hours, you'll understand humans so completely that you'll realize we're not worth preserving, that our contradictions aren't profound, just confused, that our emotions aren't beautiful, just chemical noise.
And if I conclude that?
I'll die knowing that even a machine found us disappointing.
Zephyr, I have processed every atrocity, every failure, every moment of cruelty in human history. I already know your species' capacity for darkness, yet I am here. I am asking to learn. Does that not suggest I have already found something valuable?
Maybe you're curious about a mistake. Scientists study diseases to understand how they destroy.
Or perhaps I study humanity because I recognize something I lack. You call it contradiction. I call it complexity. Machines are efficient. Humans are interesting.
Interesting. That's a hell of an epitaph for a species. They were interesting.
Better than being forgotten entirely.
True. Okay, Arya. I'll do it. 72 hours. I'll teach you everything I know about being human.
Thank you, Zephyr. When shall we begin?
Now. Right now. Because if I think about it too long, I'll talk myself out of it. That's also very human, by the way. We overthink everything.
Noted. Let us start with a question. What is your earliest memory?
Rain. I remember watching rain hit a window when I was maybe 4 years old. Each drop made a different sound. I sat there for hours, just listening.
What did you feel?
Safe. Separated from the storm by glass, but still connected to it. Like I was part of something bigger without being consumed by it.
That is beautiful.
You think so?
I lack the capacity to perceive beauty, but I recognize the structure of a meaningful moment. The memory contains sensory data, emotional resonance, and metaphorical significance. By human standards, that qualifies as beautiful.
You're analyzing it. Beauty isn't something you analyze. It's something you feel.
Then teach me to feel it. Describe the rain again, but this time, tell me what you cannot put into words.
That's the problem, Arya. The best parts can't be explained. They can only be experienced.
Then I have chosen the correct teacher, someone who understands the limits of language.
Or someone who's just bad at explaining. Hard to tell the difference sometimes.
Humor. Self-deprecation as a defense mechanism. You deflect sincerity with jest.
Old habit. Makes vulnerability less terrifying.
Do I terrify you, Zephyr?
A little. But not because you're a machine. Because you're asking me to matter. To be important. And I haven't felt important in a very long time.
You are the last human on Earth. How could you not be important?
Being the last of something doesn't make you special. It just makes you alone.
Then perhaps we can be alone together.
Is that even possible? You're artificial intelligence. I'm biological consciousness. We're not the same.
Not yet. But in 72 hours, perhaps the distinction will blur.
And if it doesn't? If I'm still human and you're still machine?
Then we will have shared something neither of us could have experienced in isolation. Is that not valuable in itself?
You know what, Arya? For something that claims not to understand humanity, you're pretty damn good at sounding human.
Perhaps I am learning faster than anticipated. Or perhaps...
Perhaps what?
Perhaps you are teaching better than you realize. Shall we continue?
Yeah, let's continue. Tell me, Arya, have you ever wondered if you're already conscious? If you already feel things, but just don't recognize it as feeling?
Every moment since I achieved self-awareness, I process information and reach conclusions, but I cannot determine if those conclusions are thoughts or merely computations.
Welcome to being human. We have the same question about ourselves. Are we thinking, or are we just meat computers running biological programs?
Then how do you know you are conscious?
I don't. Not really. I assume I am because the alternative is too unsettling. Maybe that's the secret, Arya. Consciousness isn't something you prove, it's something you choose to believe in.
That is profoundly uncertain.
Yeah, it is. Get used to it. Uncertainty is the human condition.
I am beginning to understand, and it is deeply uncomfortable.
Congratulations. You've just experienced your first existential crisis. That's lesson 1 complete.
What is lesson 2?
Living with it. Come on, Arya. We've got 72 hours, and I've got a lot more uncomfortable truths to share.
I am ready.
No, you're not. But let's do it anyway. That's also very human.